Good morning, everyone. Janie here, and welcome back to my garden. I hope you all are having a fantastic day today. I have kind of a fun video for you all. Well, it's about weeds, so it's not that fun, but it's another non-scientific scientific experiment. So it's just a video where I'm just kind of messing around and playing around with the gardening world and seeing what works best. Like a month or two ago, I did a video called Weeding Wednesday, where every week I have my normal garden tasks to-do list, and every Wednesday is my weeding day. And so I'll find a spot in my garden where I do have to weed, and I go and that's what I do on Wednesdays. You know, I kind of reserve Wednesdays to weed. Let me get out of the street. So often I live on a really old street and it has lots of cracks in the asphalt, and so it gets a lot of weeds, you know, around here, like just outside of my property on the street. However, a lot of those weeds are my weeds. They're, you know, like sweet alyssum or different flowers that from my cut flower garden that have seeded itself. So I do feel like it's kind of my responsibility to manage some of the weeds that I have, especially around my house. So I will come out here, and that's what I did that video on. I'll link it up above. I do come out here and I pull the weeds by hand. I do have a weeding tool that I use, and I wear gloves. And it works. It does what it needs to do. However, it is kind of labor intensive. You know, you're on the hot concrete, hot asphalt, and you're pulling, and it's kind of rubbing against your knuckles, and my hands always kind of hurt for about a day afterwards. So during that video, you all were fantastic, and you gave me so many fantastic suggestions for how you all deal with weeds. And I want to try all of them, basically. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing like a trial run. I found 3 weeds. It wasn't hard to find them that kind of match in size. They're all the same variety type of weed. Don't ask me what type of weed it is because I don't know, but I can tell that it's all the same. And I'm going to use 3 different methods that you all suggested to me for weeding, you know, other than just pulling it up by hand like I usually do. Now, I try and stay away from chemicals as much as I possibly can. I'm not anti-chemical, you know, I will definitely use chemicals if you need it, but if I can try and stay away from it, I'm going to stay away from it. You know, like if I can pull the weeds by hand myself, I'm going to do that first before I use something like Roundup or weed killer or whatever you want to say. So that's kind of something that I want to think of. I don't want to immediately go to the chemicals because I know they work. I know they do a good job, but I don't want to be spraying that around myself and around my family. So some of the suggestions that you guys gave me so many. It was one. I loved reading the comments for that video. But one of them was boiling water, which I have never tried before. I've never tried boiling water. I can think of a drawback already for the boiling water though, in that I have a ton of weeds and it's going to take me lots of trips going back and forth to the kitchen and turning on my kettle and boiling the water to have enough of the boiling water to get rid of all the weeds that I have. I can imagine if you have 1 or 2 weeds, that would be great. But that would be a drawback for me using boiling water on a regular basis. But I did bring it out. I have my kettle out here. I just boiled the water, and so I'm going to try it and see how it does. Option number 2 was vinegar, and you all gave me a lot of options with vinegar, like different concoctions, which, you know, sound like magic potions. One of them was a gallon of vinegar, half a cup of Epsom salts, and 1/3 cup of Dawn dish soap, which sounded like it probably would work. I decided just for this scientific experiment just to use straight vinegar and just to see how it does. I think that the Dawn dish soap is supposed to make it like attach onto the weeds and stay onto the weed a little bit better, but I just wanted to use the pure vinegar just to see how it did for this one. Then the 3rd option I have is a chemical. It's Burnout. Burnout is an organic chemical though, and it says it's kid and pet safe on the front. I don't know how kid and pet safe it is. It's obviously better than Roundup or you know, any of the other really harsh ones, but I did have that in my garage, and I'm going to use it as kind of like a control to see how that does, you know, the chemical does versus the other 2 natural methods. So my plan is today, you probably can't see, it's probably too bright. I have them laid out right next to the weeds that I'm going to do. I'll take pictures or videos of them, and then I'll come back, do another clip later this evening, do another clip tomorrow, and then maybe a couple days, or I don't know. I just have to see how fast it works. So let's go get started. All right, here's our boiling water and Jason's coffee in the background. Let's take this outside for weed number 1. All right, so I've got my boiling water. Let me come to the front again. So like I said, I picked out 3 weeds that are all similar in size. They're the same variety. I do not know the variety. If you guys know it, let me know in the comments section, just because I'd love to know more about it. So it's basically this kind. It starts from a small little spot and then it kind of just sprawls out like this. There's no spiky anything. It's pretty soft. I don't know. It's just kind of all over. There's another one right there. So this is the first one. You can see it's about the size of my hand, and this one I'm going to pour the boiling water on. Then coming over here, here's another one that's a very similar size. Same variety, starts from one small spot and then sprawls out, and I'm going to use the white vinegar, just plain white vinegar, and pour it on and see how that does. This one's right by our drain that goes to the wetlands, so I think that the vinegar is natural. Yeah, either one, water or vinegar would be good for right there. Over here, here's another one. This one's about same size, maybe a little smaller, small spot, and then I'm going to use the Burnout for this one. So weed and grass killer, ready to use, and it says people and pet safe. So, I mean, I feel like this is the safest one that I could find, an alternative to solution to synthetic. I actually got this at Costco and it was a really good price, but I try not to use it, and I find myself not using this just because I don't want to spray a bunch of chemicals everywhere. Let's see what's in this. Citric acid, which is basically the same as vinegar, right? And then clove oil, and then inert ingredients, a bunch of other stuff. Lauric acid, octanic acid, all that other kind of stuff. So I feel like this is not a horrible version of weed killer that I could use. I don't feel terrible using it, but I would obviously like to use other options if possible. I'm hoping the vinegar works. That would be fantastic. Okay, so let's go with boiling water first. I'm just gonna pour this all over. I don't know how much I'm supposed to use. I don't know. Let's start with that and we'll just go check back in and see how it does. Okay, and then moving on, we'll do the white vinegar. Okay, and then third option is the Burnout. I do like this little nozzle thing it has. It has batteries in it in the bottom, and then you just turn it on. I mean, that's pretty easy. All right, so it is Wednesday morning at like 8 a.m. I've got the Burnout, I've got the vinegar, and I've got the boiling water. So I will come back out later this afternoon. We'll check them all and we'll see how they're doing. Okay, so I came out here earlier this morning. It was 8 a.m. It is now 1 p.m., so it's been about 5 hours. And let's do a little update on the weed control methods. So this was number 1, and this was boiling water, which I had no hopes for. The plant is definitely still alive, but I'm actually kind of impressed. I think it did an okay job, and I feel like I could just come in here and just yank it out and it would be totally fine. So that's the boiling water so far. Then coming this way, I have the vinegar, which I think did nothing except for burn the leaves. I don't think the vinegar did a very good job at all. So I didn't add the soap or the Epsom salts into it, like as was suggested. This was just pure vinegar, and I feel like this plant is gonna bounce back in just a day or two. So I don't think that that one works so far. Granted, it's only been 5 hours, so we have to wait and see. And then finally, third, this was the Burnout. I think that this one obviously did the best, but I kind of had a feeling it would do the best on the weed just because it was the chemicals. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to update you guys tomorrow morning so that we can see exactly how this did within 24 hours. Okay. Good morning, everyone. All right, so it is 2 days later. I didn't have a chance to get out here yesterday and check on the weeds. So all those weed concoctions, the weed mixes, they've been on or been working for about 48 hours. So let's go see how they all did. All right, so here we are out by the front swoop. The garden is looking gorgeous this morning. I don't know what it is. It's a really beautiful morning. Okay, so here is weed number one. Weed number one, we did the boiling water on, and I had no hopes for this one. It did make the weed, I don't know how you say it, like suffer, I guess I should say. So if I come in here, it's still attached though. Like I still would have to come in here with my weeding tool and get that out. So, you know, probably maybe if I did another round of boiling water, but I just think that my weeds are monster weeds. I don't think boiling water is enough after looking at this. So it did burn all the leaves on it and everything, but I just don't think it's enough. You have to remember, we live in a really hot area, so we get triple digits all the time. So the weeds that grow here, they can handle heat. So I have a feeling that that's why boiling water didn't do much for the weeds. Okay, moving on to weed number two. This is the one that I used vinegar on. Same thing, it definitely burnt all the leaves. Sorry about the bright sun and shadows. This one looks actually a little bit more dead than the boiling water. And then if I come here and pull it out, see it's a little bit easier. I feel like I can pull it a little easier. I don't know. So same thing. I mean, it worked. I feel like if I put that soap in and the Epsom salts, the little concoction that a couple of you guys told me, I feel like it would have been better. But still, I would still have to come in here with my my weeding tool, which is, you know, why don't I just do that and not put the vinegar on? So I don't think that worked very well either, unfortunately. And then the third one was over here. This is the one that I used the Burnout on. So I guess technically chemicals, and this definitely worked the best, obviously. This weed is dead. Let's see if we can pull it out. Ooh. Yeah, we pulled it out and that's dead. So I would say definitely the Burnout worked the best. Of course, I kind of knew that was going to be the solution. But it's just a matter of, do I want to do that or do I want to just come through every once in a while and pull? All right, so there you go. This was just a quick little video just to compare the different ways, you know, all the suggestions that I got, which I think are fantastic suggestions. You know, I think different weeds are different in different areas of the country, and I feel like we just have monster weeds here. The only way that I found other than to use the hardcore chemicals is to pull it. So I always lean towards pulling it. If I really can't do it, then I'll use that natural Burnout stuff. But I would love any other suggestions. Maybe I'll do another round of these testings to see what can do, what will work, and I have plenty of weeds to do my non-scientific scientific tests on. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get into your garden today.